What's going on? This is Big G from G-Riders and welcome to another episode of Testing Rides. Today, I'm going to be testing out the 2018 BMW 430 convertible. Welcome to the 2018 BMW 430. So, well, in 2012, the F30 body style came out for the BMW. BMW decided to separate its coupes, convertibles, into a whole nother series. So that's where the 4 Series come from. So the 4 Series is basically the two-door version of the 3 Series. And that original one came out in 2014. So now here we are in 2017, and BMW facelifted the BMW 4 Series. So it's the LCI model, and they went from BMW 428 and 435 to BMW 430 and 440. And the main reason they did that is because they went to a whole different engine series. They went from the N55 and the N20 to the B38. Sorry, the B48 and the B58, and that's just a whole new engine series. And I will talk about some small differences I've noticed between the two engines because I've driven both before in vehicles. So what I'm in right now is the BMW 430 convertible, and this one has the M Sport package on it. So it has the upgraded interior, it has upgraded interior, upgraded wheels, a little bit upgraded suspension, but it's just, you know, a package. So I mentioned this is the 430. So now this vehicle replaced the 428. So now it's called the 430. It has a slightly more horsepower. So from the 428 had 240 horsepower, and the 430 has 248 horsepower, and both have the 258 foot-pounds of torque. Because this is a hardtop convertible, it weighs about 4,000 pounds. So 0 to 60 is about between 5.5 and 6 seconds. Fuel economy is about 22 in the city and 34 out on the highway. And what I can tell you about the fuel economy on this vehicle, it is actually not too bad. But of course, the car probably does get better fuel economy with the top up, just for better aerodynamics. But honestly, who cares about that? If you have a convertible, drop the top and have some fun. This is the most expensive configuration of the BMW 4 Series, the convertible. So this car starts at about $51,000 with basically nothing. Well, basically nothing for a BMW is quite a bit of stuff, but it's still basically nothing. So this one, as tested price, since with the M Sport package, that brings this car about between $54,000 and $55,000. depending on the destination and tax, and not even just tax, but just destination stuff. 55 grand is not too bad for this car, considering the convertibles hold value a lot better than the coupes do. Because I know the coupes, they depreciate really bad, but from what I've seen, the convertibles are not too bad at all. But for $55,000, you're getting a pretty decent interior. You're getting a pretty decent interior. It's pretty comfortable. Like, I'm a big guy, you guys already know that. Over 6 feet tall, over 300 pounds, and I'm pretty comfortable in the seats. It's not too bad at all. The back seats are kind of usable. Like, I had 4 people in this car yesterday, and they were decently comfortable. Decently, emphasis on decently comfortable. And you know, it's a usable 4-seater car. Most people aren't as tall as I am, so they'll get a little bit better use out of the rear seats in this car. All right, now we pulled over on the side of the road. Let's take a look at the inside of the BMW here. So let's go ahead and hop in, see how everything looks on the inside. So since the BMW 4 Series convertible is one of the more expensive vehicles, it comes with the comfort access system as standard. It's called the Essentials package, and it comes standard on all the convertible BMWs. So it has the comfort access. So BMW comfort access has little 3 notches here on the top. Hit that to lock. To unlock, just walk up, grab the door handle, and it is open. And also the M Sport one, you get in here and it has the BMW M kick plates, and also it has the BMW M footrest right there, and also has the BMW M steering wheel. So let's go ahead and hop in and see how it feels. All right. So here we are in the BMW convertible, and material quality is pretty decent. Like, there's a few scratchy materials in here, but they're very sparse. They're very hard. You have to really look for them to find them. So the dash is pretty. The dash feels really nice. It has the nice stitching up there on the dash. The door panels on the side here feel really nice. They're a little bit hard, but they have a little bit of cushion to them. And I like this nice fake aluminum type of deal here for the door handle trim, and also here in the center console. I'm not a big fan of the wood, so I'm glad that the wood there's not really any wood here. So down here on the bottom is just like the piano black interior, the piano black trim that BMW loves so much, and everything matches up pretty decently here. So let's talk about the steering wheel. That's my favorite part about this car, is the M steering wheel. So it's a different 3-spoke design than a normal BMW steering wheel. And I love this steering wheel so much. I talked about how much I like this steering wheel when I did the BMW X5 M Sport review. The paddle shifters feel really nice in your hands, just same as those did, because it's the same exact steering wheel. And the steering wheel feels nice and soft. It feels like a nice quality steering wheel. So the iDrive screen here, the iDrive screen in the BMW convertible is a little bit nicer than the other ones, because it has very good graphics. The nav is not the easiest thing to use, I'm not gonna lie, but one cool feature that is integrated into this car, so this car has the Apple CarPlay now for 2018, and when you do your Apple CarPlay, you can put in a destination on your phone, and you can choose to go to the destination in BMW's navigation system, which won't suck up your data, but you can spend 15 minutes looking for it in the BMW nav. So that's a really cool thing. I like these new icons that they're doing. They got the vehicle information. It has my average miles per gallon right there. Navigation, that's your phone, and that's your media. And again, like I said, this car does have the Apple CarPlay compatibility. The one thing that I don't like about the Apple CarPlay compatibility in this car is the simple fact that it's not controlled through USB. So this car is controlled through Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, which is kind of dumb to me, honestly, because it doesn't work as well as the ones that are controlled through USB. So sometimes it'll work, sometimes it'd be cutting out. Like, I've been in this car for about a week now, and it's cut out many times and frozen on me through the through the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth. So basically, whatever your signal is, whatever signal you're getting while you're driving on the road, that can interfere with your signal for your Apple CarPlay. So I don't like that. Down here, like all BMWs, you got your 3 drive modes, and it has these nice little graphics that come up when you change the drive modes. And you can bring up the sport display. It's just like in any other BMW. But like I said before, in sport mode, the exhaust crackles, and when it's not a sport mode, it just sounds like a normal BMW exhaust, which is really nice that you can kind of choose that. Interior is nicely laid out, but let's take a look at the convertible top, because that's one of the biggest things that I like about this car. So, alright, so now I'm going to demonstrate the top operation on the vehicle here. So, there's a little toggle switch in the center here, and all I have to do is pull this up. The windows go down slightly, and then the back opens up, and then the top stops coming up. And as you can see up above, this is a hardtop convertible. And then, if you don't like convertibles, you got a coupe now, which is really nice. Alright, so now we're going to kind of just demonstrate how big the back seat is. So I'm going to put the camera in here right now. As you can kind of see, there is a decent amount of space back there, but it's not a lot of space back there. So kind of demonstrate how like what people look like in the back seat, I'm going to put my cousin here, which is about 6 feet. He's about 6 feet tall or so, and we're going to put him back in the seat and see how he feels. So to get the seat up, all you got to do is pull this little handle here, hit this button right here once, and the seat will go up. All right, now he's going to go ahead and hop in. All right, so we're going to stop the seat there to where someone in the front can still be comfortable while he has a little bit of space in the back. So we drove about an hour with this dude in the back seat yesterday. Kind of tell them about your experience back here.
It wasn't bad. I mean, it had enough knee room, leg room. Kind of gets a little cramped underneath the seat where your feet are, but it's not that big of a problem.
Yeah, and I also heard him mentioning yesterday that the seats get a little bit hard after a while, where your butt cheeks start going numb. But again, this is a 4-seater convertible. Most of the time, people are not going to be using all 4 seats, but this is just to see like the seats in the back are usable. All right, he can get his ass out now. All right, let's see how big the trunk is. So, with the top down, you still can fit a decent amount of stuff in here. So you wonder, like, how the hell do I get back there? This button's right here. You just press up on this, and the whole thing lifts up. And you can get in the trunk. And as you see back here, I just got a bunch of random shit back here. And you know, the trunk space is not too bad. Like, I had my duffel bag and my camera bag and a couple other things back here, and it handled all that stuff pretty well. I gotta admit, the trunk is, of course, is not that big, but it's definitely big enough to fit a couple luggages back here. And then to close the trunk up, you have to take this here, close it back down, hit this button here, put it all back down. Soft close, boom, you done. All right, let's get back on the road to see how this thing drives. All right. So how does a BMW drive? Well, it drives like a BMW. What do I mean by that? Steering is pretty responsive, even though it's very electric. It's a lot better than the first generation F30 steering. The suspension is very compliant. Very compliant around corners and over bumps. And the turbocharged 4-cylinder feels pretty dang peppy. Like, this thing weighs almost 4,000 pounds and only has 248 horsepower, and it feels a lot faster than that. Like, it feels like it possibly could have you know, 260 horsepower or so, something like that. I mean, it's pretty awesome. Like I'm going over some bumps here, and the suspension is pretty soft. It's not too soft. I'm in the sport mode. It's really comfortable, but I feel like I can still dart this thing around. There's not too much body roll, but sadly, they were not able to hide the weight as well in corners as they do with all the other vehicles. It just feels like it could use a little bit more power for this type of weight, unfortunately. But, you know, it's a BMW hardtop. You're not getting this car to, you know, set lap records. You're getting this car to drop the top and have fun. And as that type of car, this does really great at that. All right, so I've been talking speaking very highly of this BMW. What are some things I don't like? Well, honestly, biggest thing I don't like about this car is the simple fact that it's a convertible. You know, convertibles are fun and they're really nice, but my only issue with them is the second you drop the top, the car becomes way less rigid. And this BMW is very, very guilty of that, which necessarily like. So you definitely feel the chassis flex when you go around corners, especially when you go over bumps around corners, and it almost feels a little sketchy. It almost feels kind of un-BMW like. And I think that, I know BMW worked really hard. BMW worked really hard to make this car as rigid as possible, even in convertible form, but they still have I think they still have a little bit more work to do. But that's just me. I like convertibles, but I'm just not too sold on the structural rigidity of this convertible. And honestly, the trunk space is pretty small too, but that's typical convertible issues. So I'm not gonna beat that down like a dead horse. And the seats aren't as supportive as they should be for kind of the M Sport seats, because, you know, you go around the corner, you look at both of us in the car here, and we're both flying around the car like this car doesn't have any type of sport seats at all. Yes, they're very comfortable, but they're more comfortable than they are functional, if that makes any sense. And I know this is, like I said, this car is not made to set lap records or anything like that, but I expect to see a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more supportive seats on this vehicle. And I just wish that this vehicle had just a little bit more support for cornering. All right, so I'm gonna talk a little bit about the engine. So this car has the new B48 engine. So this is a new modular BMW engine that they're using in all their vehicles. So they have a 3-cylinder, a 4-cylinder, and a 6-cylinder variant of this engine. So they can basically make one engine block and just change it up of how they see fit to work in their different vehicles. And honestly, I kind of like this motor better than the other motor before, because even though it's not that different from the last one, it makes comparable horsepower and torque. It makes a lot more noises. So what do I mean by that? So I'll put some clips up here. This thing crackles a lot on the downshifts. And I love the ZF dual clutchy 8-speed noise in between the gears. Honestly, the 4-cylinder sounded a little bit boring before. It just sounded like, you know, a BMW that's a 4-cylinder. But I know the crackles and the pops are very artificial, but it adds for me, I know me personally, and I know real enthusiasts, it adds a lot to the driving experience. It gives you a lot more joy out of driving the vehicle hard and putting it in the sport mode and doing all that. And I mind you, the crackles only happen when you're in sport mode. It doesn't happen in the regular mode. So if you don't like the crackles, you could just not use sport mode at all. You could just accelerate like in comfort mode and it'll do the same type of stuff. But if you want to hear the crackles all the time, you can put it into the sport mode and it'll crackle away on the downshifts and when you let off the gas. It's pretty awesome. The BMW 430 convertible is pretty great, and I would highly recommend it if you're looking for a fun European German coupe. If you like this video, hit me with the thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and keep riding with me. Thanks for watching.